Good morning. This is the first online lectures that will be hosted by me for the SHU 100 level students of Facultas College of Health Science and Technology. I want you to take this lecture series very seriously because it's as good as those lectures you'll be having in the class when we are. Hope you're staying home and you're staying safe. So I urge you to get a pen and a paper, follow through. You have the opportunity to watch over and over again to have a full grasp of this. Today we're going to be starting with a review of the last mid-semester exams that we had just before the break. And as our custom is, let's look into the questions, look into the possible answers that we have given. Then let's see how you can assess yourself personally and evaluate yourself for a better result. All right, let's start by looking at the questions. All right, let's start with the revision like I said earlier. You can see on the screen, these are the questions you saw on your last mid-semester exams. Number 1, list any 5 functions of blood. Number 2, with the aid of a well-illustrative algorithm, describe the components of blood. Number 2A, list the 12 clotting factors. 2B, list any 8 contents of plasma. 3A, in a tabular form, state any 5 differences between artery and vein. 3B, using a well-annotated diagram, describe the ABO resource compatibility. Let's start with number 1. List any 5 functions of blood. Like I said in the class, the major function of the blood is that it serves as a means of communication between organs. Now, it's okay for you to say that functions of blood include 1, transportation of oxygen from the lungs to the tissues, transportation of CO2, there's carbon dioxide from the tissues back to the lungs, transportation of nutrients to the tissues, transportation of hormones to their target sites, transportation of waste products to the kidneys and liver through which they are detoxified and excreted from the body, maintenance of a core body temperature by transporting heat to the skin. Blood contains antibodies which helps to defend the body against diseases. Blood contains buffers which help to ensure homeostasis by regulating the pH in the body or pH between the cells. Blood contains platelets which help to minimize blood loss. Here I've listed a couple of functions of the blood. If you're able to list 5 out of these functions, you've earned yourself the complete 5 marks. Let's go to the next question. Describe the components of blood. I expect, like I've given you in the class, that you draw something like this, as you can see it depicted on the screen. Blood divided into 2 parts, the cells and the plasma. The cell further divided into the erythrocytes, the leukocytes, and the thrombocytes. Now, under the leukocytes, you have a subdivision into the agranulocytes and the granulocytes. And the agranulocytes are subdivided into the monocytes and the lymphocytes, while the granulocytes are divided into neutrophils, eosinophils, and basophils. On the right-hand corner, you can see plasma subdivided into the contents that you have in the plasma. So if you give me something like this, you'll be sure to have your 5 marks completed. The next question is, list the 12 clotting factors. The 12 clotting factors are as follows. I expected you to write it this way: factor 1 in Roman numerals, factor 2, and so on in Roman numerals. So when you have it this way, factor 1 is fibrinogen, factor 2 is prothrombin, factor 3 is thromboplastin, factor 4 is calcium, factor 5 is Leber factor, factor 6 is no factor. And you can see on the screen I did not put anything factor 6 there. So it's either you omit that or you say no factor at all. Factor 7 is stable factor, factor 8 is anti-hemophilic factor A, factor 9 is Christmas factor, factor 10 is Tort-Pourra factor, factor 11 is plasma thromboplastin antecedent, factor 12 is Hageman factor, and factor 13 is fibrin stabilizing factor. Given all this, you have 12 clotting factors, they're numbered 1 to 13. If you have this, then you have your full 6 marks. Number 2B, list any 8 contents of plasma. I think this is the simplest question of them all. It carries 4 marks. Each individual answer here is 0.5 marks. Water, plasma proteins. If you write albumin or globulins because they're plasma proteins, you stay in your mark. Nutrients such as glucose, amino acids, fatty acid, any of which you write, you still earn your mark. Waste materials such as urea, uric acid, or creatinine, any which you write on the same topic, still earns your mark. We have hormones, you have gases. Your gases may be carbon dioxide, maybe oxygen, maybe nitrogen. We have clothing factors like fibrinogen and the rest of it. Then we have electrolytes. If you're able to give us 8 of these, you earn yourself 4 marks. The next question states differentiate in a tabular form. Differentiate between an artery and a vein. This question carries 5 marks, so we expected you to state 5 differences, but on the screen here I've already illustrated 6 differences. Arteries have thick walls, while on the veins have thinner walls. Arteries are otherwise known as resistant vessels, whereas veins are capacitance vessels. When an artery is cut, blood spurts. When a vein is cut, blood oozes. All arteries carry oxygenated blood except pulmonary artery. All veins carry deoxygenated blood except pulmonary vein. All artery carries blood away from the heart. You remember A, artery, away. All veins return blood back to the heart. Arteries have no valves, whereas large veins have valves. We'll take the last question. They say, with the aid of well-annotated diagram, describe the ABO resource compatibility. If you give a table like this or something similar, it's right. But what I'm mostly interested in is the fact that you must be able to show us where the donor is and where the recipient is. If you look at the table here on the left-hand corner there, I have the recipient, and on the right-hand side, I have the donor. The recipient goes with O negative, O positive, A negative, A positive, B negative, B positive, AB negative, and AB positive. The same thing is also repeated on the upper row there. Now, anywhere you see tick that matches with the horizontal and the vertical, it means it is compatible, and anywhere you see a cross, it means it is incompatible. So whichever way you approach your table, so long as it comes in this way and I'm able to see that the compatibility ratio is right, then you get your full 5 marks. Thank you very much for watching.
Now, I hope I've made sense in all this that we have done in the last few minutes. Take note that this is just like a test lecture that we're doing. Subsequently, that's from next week, I'll send you a link where you can be able to view our lectures every week, at least up until when the lockdown is over. Until then, please stay home, stay safe, and be well.